Good evening, guys. I'm going to talk about Men of Values as a channel, try to explain a few things. Um, I typically don't say like, subscribe, and give a comment because it helps the algorithm. That's solicitation. Everybody does that at the end of their videos, and frankly, for me, it's annoying. If you like it, you like it. And you can come back to Men of Values, Scott Rockford, and look for new videos. You don't have to subscribe. I mean, if you do, and you want to be a part of the team, that's cool. I mean, I don't want to just overload the subscribers. Some people actually hire services to run up their likes and subscribers. That's amazing to me. But if you make money by doing it, that's fine. My intent is not to make money. I said this on the intro video, is that I'm going to have a community of people that are interested in what I'm trying to do, and that's to get people more comfortable with talking about deep issues and not be offended by everything, and to focus on men's values. I want to say thanks. We had Walter Green, Patricia Taylor, both join the team as subscribers. These are people I don't know, and that's what I want. If you look at it, I got 15 subscribers, so I don't put this out to my friends and family. I don't share it on other media. I did a little bit, but then I take it down right away. Because those are all the people that know me. I don't want those people to jump aboard to try to show support when it's not authentic. So for Walter Green, Patricia Taylor, they don't know me. They had no reason to subscribe, but they did it because they saw something that piqued their interest, and that's what I'm looking for. I want to have a community of people that think the same way, and not just people that randomly support me because they know me. I don't want that. I don't want to hire a service to run up my likes and my subscribers and all that. I want this to be authentic and be a small community. If it blows up someday, I'm tilting the camera a little bit. Let me fix this. Hopefully it doesn't fall. Okay, there we go. Another thing that I had is, this is the first time this has happened, where somebody I don't know actually commented. And that's what I want. I want an interaction with people that I don't know that want to communicate with me on stuff that I cover. Daniel Zuniga, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, commented on one of the videos, and he said he appreciated how I'm open-minded, and I'm scatterbrained. I'm scatterbrained. You can call it open-minded, but yeah. And I just like to speak what's on my mind and share those opinions and thoughts, and sometimes they're wrong. Sometimes I say the wrong things, and I'll put notes in the video like, I messed up and said this when I should have said this. I made a mistake. That's another point of Men of Values, is I want this to be raw, where you see unedited, just me talking and making mistakes, and keeping an open dialogue. So, for instance, Daniel Zuniga said 3 things that he had interest in as far as issues were race, mass shootings, or the mass shooting. Maybe that's the grocery store one that's all in the news right now, and Roe versus Wade. I'll just share some thoughts on each one of those. And Daniel, I appreciate it. I appreciate the comments. Roe versus Wade. I don't understand the inner workings of what everything's encapsulated in Roe versus Wade. But I will say, if they overturn it and the power goes to the states, I don't see that as a bad thing. I'm pro-choice. That might upset people. A lot of things I say might upset people. But when I say that, I mean I'm pro-responsibility, meaning that if it gets to the point, I mean, you could take birth control and condoms don't work all the time, or there might be a situation where you have a kid or you get pregnant. When I say pro-responsibility, I mean that if you wait till after the kid is born, or late-term abortions, I don't support that. But if we have, for instance, a kid that's going to grow up in poverty, and whatever the reason is, it's the woman's choice. So when I say Men of Values, it's not for me to dictate what a woman should do. That's not for me to do, especially as a man, right? I mean, I'm against killing babies, but at the same time, I understand that abortion is a necessary evil in society. Um, but being responsible, I don't think wait until the 9 month or after birth. I think early term abortion with specifics that, if you're just being irresponsible, be responsible. Don't just be like, shit, I got pregnant again, I got to get an abortion. There's so many avenues. Now, there's religious things that might prevent somebody from getting an abortion or taking birth control, this, that. I get that and I respect that. But even condoms, the day after pill, men could explore options for, I don't want to call it birth control, but they have methods to decrease the chances of getting a woman pregnant. You can do the vasectomy, you can do hormone therapy that will decrease the chances, but there's also the chance that it could still happen. Abstinence is the only 100% thing that we have to rely on. So if a woman does get pregnant and she doesn't do the day after pill for whatever reason, and maybe she's carrying a baby for 6-8 weeks and doesn't even know she's pregnant, okay? So that's where you have that window. I think that window is necessary where it's like, okay, she didn't know she was pregnant and whatever happened. I don't think the idea of getting pregnant, carrying it to term, and then the man leaves you and you decide, okay, well, I got to abort this baby after it's born. That whole idea, that's crazy to me. But I think it's a necessary evil to give the woman the choice, but I don't think it should be an irresponsible choice where you wait and wait and wait. And I don't know what the reasons might be that you want to wait, but I'm pro-choice. That's what I'm saying. And Roe versus Wade getting overturned, if the states have the power, that doesn't mean that abortions are illegal. I live in a state that's Democratic governor, mayor of Minneapolis. If you live in Minnesota, the chances of you getting your freedom of choice for abortion taken away is like next to nothing. And if you live in California, New York, the Democratic states, you'll be fine. So in the worst case scenario, if you're in a state that decides that they want to restrict abortion, I don't think it should be completely eliminated. But if they want to restrict abortion to say 3 months, beyond 3 months, you can't do it. And that might be just some states. Well, if you're in a circumstance where you're beyond 3 months and you still decide, you still make the choice, I'm pro-choice, to abort, then get a bus ticket or something. There's still options, and it's not shutting down across the country that abortion is illegal, right? Like I said, I feel it's a necessary evil, and it should be responsible if the choice is made to abort a child, right? The next thing, mass shootings. That's something that I think is horrible. It's horrible, but I think it's typically relegated to white men with mental problems. So when they talk about gun control, I think controlling the guns, who gets the guns, screening better is something we should really do. It should be strict. So crazy guys don't get guns. And apparently with the mass shooting at the grocery store, the guy was mental, right? And people knew it, but somehow he still got a gun. So I think it's not just controlling who gets the guns. I think people need to pay attention. Like, he's 18, he wasn't living on his own, I would imagine. So his parents should have been like, okay, we got to check this kid out. Go search his room because he's been doing some crazy shit. Parents should take some responsibility on that too. But I don't think letting the common man and woman, I think we should all be allowed to go through the proper channels, be screened, be vetted, and be allowed to own our own arms to protect ourselves, especially with crime being the way it is. But I do think we need to work on the screening. They keep talking about the AR. It sounds like nobody really understands what the AR-15 is. They say assault rifle. I think it's Armalite rifle, and they make it sound like it's this big demonistic, shoot people down, M16. You know, and we shouldn't even be looking at that now, because now you can get that adjustment to your pistol where it's rapid fire automatic, right? So 9mm could be doing the exact same thing, but just be a handheld, more convenient to conceal. That could be a problem too, right? So I don't think people should have that to turn it into rapid fire, right? But I do think everybody that wants to should be able to get educated on how to properly carry, hold, the law behind firearms. If you pull a gun on somebody and you shoot, and then you end up hitting somebody else, an unintended target, even though it was self-defense, you're in a lot of trouble. So I got a conceal and carry, and there was a lot of education that came along with it, and I think that's important. So having the education and getting the screening, I think people should be allowed to own firearms. And there's been a lot of instances, you can find this on YouTube, where there was a violent crime about to take place, but then somebody that had the conceal and carry and the education and the calm to be able to respond shut the whole thing down, right? And it's a risky situation every time, every time. So even though I have a conceal and carry, it doesn't mean I carry. You know, maybe I do, maybe I don't. I'm not going to disclose that here, but just carrying, you have a huge responsibility that comes with that, you know. So there's a lot that goes into it, but with mass shootings, I think the screening needs to be tighter. And I do think, and this is just my opinion, so don't get pissed off, but I think it's relegated to white people with mental issues. You know, I mean, you can find something, send me a link about, you know, somebody else doing it that maybe didn't have a mental problem, and it does happen. But for the majority, I think it's white people that have a mental disability, not disability, I'm sorry. They have a mental issue, right? And a lot of the stuff that comes to light later on after the fact, we find out that, yeah, it's true. And somebody should have been paying closer attention. They should never had a gun. Now, I guess you can 3D print them and all this other stuff, and that's a problem too, because we can't control it so much. But that doesn't mean the everyday citizen shouldn't be able to get educated and be able to conceal and carry to protect themselves or their family or their home. So, and Daniel also mentioned his third topic was race. Well, that's broad. There's a lot of things we could talk about as far as race. Equality, I believe in equality of outcome. I don't believe that if you come from a rich family, your parents set you up, you know, and you're a white family, I don't think that's white privilege. I don't believe in white privilege. I believe in familial privilege. Meaning, so if your family generates wealth over generations and you can go to a better school, if you got two parents, you're sitting pretty, there's more resources for you. Or if your parents pass away and you inherit a lot, but that doesn't mean that because you have that situation that you have any obligation to share that with anybody else. Because if your family worked hard to make the right decisions and build wealth, they pass that on to you, and that's the way it should be. There shouldn't be any obligation to share with anybody else. And I think that's where the equality thing gets messed up, because there's privilege to what family that you're born to, certainly. And you might start way up here. Somebody else is starting way down here, from broke, single parent, or what is that, where you live, a foster home kid. You know, there's been success stories from that. So we all have a different starting point. So that equality is we should all have the same opportunity, right? What we do with that, that's up to us. So the equality of outcome, I'm not on board with that. Like, we should, if somebody's working their ass off to try to excel or getting, you know, AP classes because they're super smart, I don't think they should be held back. I think we should support that, and we shouldn't keep everybody equal. I mean, if somebody's striving and kicking ass and doing the work, they should excel, and that's where the capitalism thing kicks in. So the people that think we should just take from the rich to be more socialistic, more socialism, I don't like that. I don't like that. In fact, I pay taxes, and some of the things that the taxes I pay are doing, where the money's going, I don't agree with it, you know, but I can't agree with everything, and that's fine. But I pay like everybody else pays, and that's just, it is what it is. The tax system is jacked, especially if you live in Minnesota. I mean, we're taxed pretty high. And if you look at everything that you do with your money, the movement of money is taxed, right? So you earn it, it's taxed there. You spend it, it's taxed there. If you buy stocks and you earn dividends from those stocks, that's taxed. Everything is taxed. The movement of money is taxed. If you pay tax on a car, you buy that car, right? You pay tax for it. But you're also taxed on the money that you use to pay for that car. And then if you go to sell that car to another buyer as a used car, then they're taxed too. So it's the biggest pimp system ever, kind of going off on a tangent. I do that. I just let my brain throw up into the camera. Here we go. Here's all kinds of shit. So Daniel, I hope I did touch on some of the things that you want to hear about or you wanted to discuss. If you have something that you want to come back, and share with me on what I just said, please do it. I mean, I would like that. That's the whole point of Men and Values, is that we get this back and forth going. And if you have questions, then maybe I'll use that for the next video. But again, Daniel, I appreciate your comment. I do. And Walter Green, Patricia Taylor, I appreciate you joining the team, because I don't solicit. So you're doing it because you see something of value that you might be able to enjoy. And maybe I might make the next video and you're like, gosh, I got to unsubscribe. This guy's bonkers, right? But I'm just sharing thoughts and opinions for entertainment. And that's pretty much what it is. And I think we should all be having some of this stuff, in our mind, thinking about it, not to the point where you go crazy, because watching the news can make you crazy. There's too much negative shit. But sometimes just talking about this stuff, whether you're doing it with your friends or your family or throwing it at me, whatever, can help deal with it, right? I mean, decompress a little bit. And I think that's important that we do that. So one little piece for Men of Values for this video is find ways to decompress. So all the topics right here, they're stressful, and a lot of people have hard opinions on those, and it makes it hard to discuss because it's like two magnets, pushing away if you haven't flipped the right way. And it's hard to be able to just relax and talk about this stuff, but sometimes if you're able to do that, you can decompress. So we have to find a way to do that and get through the tough times that we're going through right now, and sometimes just talking about it will help. Hopefully it doesn't turn into a big elevated situation where it's an argument, and then that's more stress. So you got to be careful with that. Men of Values, Scott Rockford. I appreciate you guys tuning in, and thank you to the new team members, and thank you, Daniel, for sharing the comment. Appreciate it.